Hey YouTubians, welcome back. I got you another video, and without further ado, I kind of got a sort of long one today. So without further ado, like I said, so this video is about carrier module upgrades, which I find very useful and very important. So to access your carrier module upgrades, right here. So obviously you got each carrier. Got your Charles de Gaulle, Enterprise, Russian, I can't say that damn name, Elizabeth, Nimitz, and then Gerald R. Ford class. So obviously brief rundown, blah blah blah. So this video is mainly going to be for pretty much what you should be working on, kind of what first. I'm going to tell you, like I said, the gist of what you should work on first and things you should work on later, and also things where you may not really have to work on these things. So one of the most important, also best way to describe this is so you got just randomly these XP select materials. Obviously these are going to help you obviously gain the upgrades. So once the carrier is level 5, you can use the carrier blueprints, which are very key. These middle ones do a little bit less, and then these small ones, obviously you're going to have a lot more of these, and you're going to be using a lot more of these from time goes on. And what I would also suggest do is save all these up for the event, which is extra 10%, which is nice. So the oil value when you first start out is 20,000 oil each, pretty much one. So you can times that by 11,000. It's going to be quite severely in oil, and not much, so much food and silver. But one of the best ways to actually decrease your oil consumption on these, which I'm going to show you. So on these, well, these three are food. Not too bad. The oil, so you can see mine as 2,000. Well, you may ask, why is it 2,000, not 20,000? And the carriers, there's nothing you can do. 20,000 still. These middle ones are going to be 8,000. And like I said, all three of these start out at 20,000. So how do I improve that? So just a quick rundown. You can see my base has the pixel, which the pixel, if I give you just a, please read, but most importantly, gives you little cost reduction, which is actually fantastic. Another thing, big thing too, is research. Obviously, if you go into your research building, you go into economy 2. Oh no, I'm sorry, munitions 2. And you start, so you got all modules. You can see this, and let's see here. So you got start right here, level 5. Obviously, it's gonna like see 2,500 reduction, and then if you keep going, scrolling, you can see this all blah 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 3,000. And the last one is this one, which is huge, 7,000 total. I thought was unbelievable at first, but with all said and done, you get your smaller module XP points to 2,000. Well, except for food, sorry, it only works on oil, but 2,000. That is fantastic. You know, this, you could just, I'm not gonna, multiply this and times 20,000 and then times 2,000. You're gonna get a heck of a lot of difference. I mean, 90-day difference, and it's gonna allow you to, like I did, max out frigate armor. You can see frigate armor. I'm gonna be maxing out destroyer armor next. So with that being said, let's get on to the main part of the video, and that is what should you be working on with these module upgrades. And granted, these are really good research to do, very good, very important, if I might add. So first off, Trials of Gaul, you can already see what I got. And going by a low level, I would suggest doing submarine armor and frigate armor, destroyer armor. I would kind of hold off a little bit on this, so I wouldn't necessarily. And just recently, I started doing destroyer armor because I started doing destroyers. Which destroyers, you really want to have good skills. So if you don't have good skills, the Arleigh Burke, for example. I'm mainly talking about meta ships like Somol or the DDGX, and anything below that really just sucks. Burks, because after, I can explain it further if you want, but after 30, destroyer, before 30, well, I'm sorry, let me start again. At 30, destroyers are pretty much useless until, like, say, Zomals, but then now with the 34 upgrades, it's DDGXs. But my point is that Typhoons will destroy Darings and Burks on a good day. Now, you got those people that would maybe a T5 or T6, but Typhoons are going to wreck. And that's why I would suggest focusing more on submarine armor and frigate armor. Frigate armor, you know, Independences still do a really good job, especially against Typhoons, especially if they're on an equal level. So that's why I say don't necessarily focus on destroyer armor first. And you can see these blues. I actually just use these blues as battle pass points, so that's why they're always level 1. I reset them. I continuously reset them, but that's for another video. So that's pretty much what I get for Trials of Gaul. Enterprise. So the arms capacity, you really don't run into a lot of ammo issues, especially frigate and destroyer. And then as far as submarine armor capacity, you don't get into trouble until you get into the Virginia classes, which is HQ 33. So realistically, I think I was bored just to train these up anyway. I didn't have anything else. So realistically, you don't need this until Virginia's, because Typhoons, Sea Wolves don't really suffer ammo issues. And now you can see that on battle reports. Battle reports can tell you why it failed, especially in Blitz. That's also a good thing. So obviously, evasion's really good. And like I said, with destroyers, I would hold off on destroyers. I would not focus much on destroyers. Submarines are good, and obviously frigates are good. And then airstrike, damage against carriers, I would not really this is not something I wouldn't focus on as a newish player. If you start having some good jets that can do good airstrikes, then I would. And obviously, anti-air is really good. That's for Armada Strike Group or ASG. I like to do the pronunciations first and then the full wording and then say the pronunciations. So it's Armada Strike Group and ASG. And then obviously jet specialty attack. I use Enterprise as a escort carrier whenever I do ASG. And my previous video has the description of why I do that too on the carrier escort type video I have previously made. Airstrike count reduction prevention, I am not exactly sure what that damn thing is. But if you don't have Nimitz 5, which is 4 jets, you could very well just run the you could very well run the Enterprise on ASG all the time until you get Nimitz 5. So that will give you increased jet attack, specialty attack, which deals directly to ASG, which is amazing actually. So I have some of that trained up just for as an escort. pretty much it. The Russians, and obviously durability. I'm doing pretty good in durability. Like I said, destroyers, don't really focus too much on destroyers. They're crap in blitz. And minus some ults-ish. And DDX excel in blitz 50, in my opinion. But like I said, submarine and freaking durability, I'll focus on. Honestly, more so, this is the same thing. You got your blues right here. Crit wise, I mean, I like the crit. This only works if you have an escort carrier anyway. If you're a new player, you won't be able to have an escort carrier, so this is kind of irrelevant until you get into the 32, HQ 32 and 33. So, mind you, I probably wouldn't focus on this until you're probably, like I said, HQ 32 or 33. Moving on. Elizabeth, you got your skill gouge, which helps your ships increase the specialty damage. People tend to max out ship durability more, so ship crit is also really good. I am actually focusing on ship crit lately. You can see that I have some Queen Elizabeth saved up, and these, but I am using these on Nimitz right now. Ship arms, obviously ship arms is going to be good for the mainly just blitz 60, so I wouldn't necessarily focus on this a little bit. Maybe if you wanted to do a little bit better in blitz. Ship durability also, obviously, and then ship evasion, I would definitely work on ship evasion, ship durability, and then a little bit of ship crit, and that'd be kind of a fourth option. And you got all these kind of BS skills. I wouldn't really worry about them. I was bored one time and started training these a little bit. And these blues, again, I mean, if you have a Queen Elizabeth, I would just use a Enterprise anyway. So these are kind of useless anyway. Even with the escorts, I wouldn't even mess with these. Okay, obviously. And we're going to move on to Nimitz. So the Nimitz has a lot of good stuff, actually. Obviously, you got your ship arms capacity, ship accuracy, which is pretty good. It helps you land shots better. And then ship arms capacity, which increases your ammo, which I think I actually forgot to tell you what ship arms capacity does. But that basically increases your ammo capacity of your ships. And you also got the Big Daddy ship armor, and you can see what I'm training currently. That's where I'll gonna be my my focuses. Last events, I trained 2 levels in this. Actually, I got a bunch of this. Actually, 10% helps a lot, people. Some people train this. Jet attack, yeah, jet ship attack. I find it kind of lacking because it takes a lot. It's not, aircraft durability. I really like this because it helps you avoid being sent home, especially if you have low carrier durability, because those YF jets could be annoying. I can tell you this, that I would recommend at least having 50,000 aircraft durability on your carrier. That will give you really good protection. That will work on the 4 jet combo on the YFs, but on the 5th, 5 strikes, which is becoming a little bit more common, but only the big boys have them. You're gonna need, my recommendation, you're gonna need 69,000 aircraft durability to at least survive a 3 strike. So, and that's on my evaluation, because I got hit for 23,000 on 1 hit on the 5 strike. So if you times that by 3, you can kind of gauge, Like I said, these, you don't necessarily need these all per se. These blues are really good. I do like the blues just because you're going to be using the Nimitz for a very long time. Select few are going to have the Ford, so and you're going to be using the Nimitz for a long time. So I would suggest also working on these blues. You can see what I'm working on right now. And as far as what kind of what you're focused on, I would definitely focus on ship armor a lot. Like I said, ship arms, I wouldn't necessarily focus on that until the higher levels. Ship accuracy, you can work on that a little bit. Aircraft carrier durability, if you want to have protection, definitely worth it. Low levels also get targeted, so if you have a lot of ship durability, you have to be set home. And obviously, this ship any airship. This means that all across the board, your ship's gonna get attack on your carrier, which means this works on PvE and PvP. This means when attacking aircraft carriers, obviously, this is only going to work on whenever you're attacking another aircraft carrier. So this wouldn't work on Blitz. This will. So that's what this means. You got to look at when attacking an aircraft carrier, basically, is a key term. Excuse me. And obviously deploying tanks per mission, I think that's just a worthless trait. I've seen some people train it. I think it's just worthless. You don't need that much. Obviously the ship defending carrier, I would say it's pretty good. Alright. Excuse me. Carry on. 4. So many of you don't have the 4, I'm sure, yet. You can see the modules, quite similar to the Nimitz. Quite similar. Definitely adds a lot more to the battle scene. 4 does take a lot of PvP into account. Especially if you look at the cores. The cores are actually fantastic. When you fully core this ship up, it's a lot better than the Nimitz. Obviously you got this a little bit. I'm not really working much on the 4 just because it's an escort carrier, and for example, 10%. Excuse me. So 10%. If I use the escort carrier, it's gonna translate to 1%. So I'm not getting much returns out of it. So that's why I'm not really training much into it. I think I trained these just on when I had some of these modules. I'm talking too much. So that's pretty much my gist of what to work on. It's kind of a long video, but I wanted to dive into this video. The first video I made, the sound wasn't the mic wasn't on or something, so I couldn't, obviously had to trash it. So hope this helps. If you have any questions, feel free to ask below. I know I kind of rushed a little bit. I feel like I rushed a little bit, talking a little fast, but I want to there's just a lot of information, tons of information to say, and I hope I was able to cover most of it, and hopefully my recommendations make sense. If they don't make sense, obviously just let me know down below, and I'll hopefully